Today we're going to talk about getting more longevity out of your paintbrushes right after this. Hey everybody, Sam here from the Tabletop Hub, your one-stop shop for all things tabletop. And if there's one question I get asked tons, and by tons I mean not really very often, it's how to maintain and look after your paintbrushes. But it's a question that we should be asking a lot more as tabletop painters. We shouldn't just be asking this question because paintbrushes can be expensive and we want to get as much use out of them as possible. It's also because we want to make sure we get the best paint job possible out of our paintbrushes. So there's two things I want to cover today. One is a massive preventative measure that will make sure that you get longer use out of your paintbrushes, and then I'm going to show you how I clean and maintain my paintbrushes after every painting session. So let's get stuck into it. So in order to share my main preventative measure with you in looking after your paintbrushes, we got to do a little bit of paintbrush anatomy, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the ferrule, which is this little metal band that keeps the bristles together and joins the hairs of your brush to the shaft, is what I like to call it. A little bit too sexual though. So this is kind of the miniature painter's number one crime, so to speak, and I do this so much as well. It's so easy to fall into this pitfall, but it's putting too much paint onto your brush. So whenever you put paint onto your brush, you want to make sure the paint is kind of only coming up to about halfway, if that. Because if you put paint all the way over the bristles and the paint comes onto the ferrule as well, it's actually going to go inside the little space between the hairs, the bristles, and the ferrule itself. Over time, that's kind of just going to build up into a massive pile of gunk, really, and it's going to degrade the inside of the ferrule and the connection that your bristles have, not only to the ferrule, but the connection the ferrule has to the shaft of your brush as well. So number one preventative measure to get more longevity out of your brush, don't put so much paint onto it. So with that said, how do we go about properly cleaning our brushes after we use them? I'm going to be sharing with you my method of cleaning my brushes. There are a ton of methods, each one with their own pros and cons. And I'm also going to show you my special sauce in cleaning my brushes as well, combined with the fact I called this the shaft in a really sexual way earlier. Don't worry, it's all completely clean. So this is what I use to clean my brushes. This is a tiny bit of washing up liquid, tiny bit of olive oil, and a tiny bit of water, all mixed in together. And there's a reason for that. So the cleaning agent, the washing up liquid, is our cleaning agent. The oil is actually to bring the bristles back into form again, and so we can form bristles into a nice point. And the water is just a reactive agent for the cleaning agent as well, so we can give our brushes a good old scrub. Now, I just used these brushes for my Sepulchral Guard painting tutorial, and they are well due a clean. So all I do is just get your brush into the cup, just give it a good old swirl around, bring it out. Now it's still wet, and then in the palm of your hand, just begin to lather it. Kind of one direction, turn it around, maybe about 10 seconds in each direction, up and down, and across. And feel free to do this multiple times if you feel like if you can still see little bits of dirt, gunk, dried paint in there. Don't be afraid to go in and give your brushes another clean and be a little bit more vigorous. Now, once you're happy that your brush is clean, just take a little bit of cloth, or I've just got kitchen paper right here, and just wipe around the ferrule itself. Don't scratch away at the brush. Instead, what we're going to do is just get your fingers and just form the brush again into a point, and you'll find with the olive oil, it really just goes into it's really easy to kind of form it back together. So what you can find is that a lot of people will find that maybe a stray hair kind of just sticks out, and they'll go and try and snip it with scissors. Don't do that whatsoever. It's just going to ruin your brush way quicker. Instead, just clean it like this, a little bit of olive oil, and you'll find that they'll all form back together. Now, once you've got to this stage, leave your brush on its side to dry for about 30 minutes. If you want to be really excessive, you could leave it there for a day. You don't want to leave it drying like this in your jar, mainly because all the water is going to run down the bristles into the inside of the ferrule. It's going to rust and it's going to rot away the inside as well. Equally, don't leave it like that unless you've got one of the little plastic protectors. If you do have a little plastic protector, this is a brilliant way to leave it to dry. If you don't, just leave it on its side. And after a couple of hours, it'll be ready to be put back into your paintbrush jar. So folks, that is how I maintain and care for my brushes. Like I said, there are a number of methods and ways to clean your brushes. Why not let me know your method down in the comments below. Equally, if this is the first time you've came across the Tabletop Hub, feel free to subscribe for more tabletop goodness. But until next time, have a great week, and I'll speak to you all soon.